All right, meeting come to order, please. Town of Lee, right to know law, meeting checklist. As chairman of the select board, due to the COVID-19 coronavirus crisis, in accordance with Governor Sununu's emergency order number 12, pursuant to executive order 2020-04, this board is authorized to meet electronically. Please note that there is no physical location to observe and listen contemporaneously to the meeting, which is authorized pursuant to the governor's emergency order. However, in accordance with the emergency order, this is to confirm that we are, A, providing public access to the meeting by telephone with additional access possibilities by video or other electronic means. By utilizing the Zoom platform for the electronic meeting, all members of the board have the ability to communicate contemporaneously during this meeting through the Zoom platform. The public has access to contemporaneously listen and, if necessary, participate in this meeting through dialing the following phone number 1-646-558-8656 and entering meeting ID 892-7541-3158, password 124855, or by entering the same information through zoom.us. B, providing public notice of the necessary information for accessing the meeting. We previously gave notice to the public of how to access the meeting using Zoom, and instructions are provided on the Town of Lee's website at lee.newhampshire.org. C, providing a mechanism for the public to alert the public body during the meeting if there are problems with access. If anybody has a problem, please call 603-659-5414. D, adjourning the meeting if the public is unable to access the meeting. In the event the public is unable to access the meeting, we will adjourn the meeting and have it rescheduled to another time. Please note that all votes that are taken during this meeting shall be done by roll call vote. Let's start the meeting by taking a roll call attendance. When each member states their presence, also please state whether there's anyone in the room with you during this meeting, which is required under the right to know law. Mr. Bugby?
I'm here and nobody else is here.
Mr. Brown?
I'm here, no one else is here.
Mr. LaCourse, I am here and nobody else is here. First order of business, Steve Ellick, Public Works Manager.
So I told you guys last meeting that we're ending our relationship with Right Angle Communication or Right Angle Engineering. And these are the last of the bills for services rendered for the projects that we've been working on for about 5 years and got nowhere on. So yeah, I just wanted to take the money out of the trust fund to pay it.
Questions from the board?
Why did we get a mileage discount? Not that I'm complaining, but what was up with that?
Don't know.
Oh, no.
Don't know, don't care. Okay. No, I have no other questions.
Mr. Brown, any questions?
No,
Anybody else? Therefore, I move to approve Right Angle Engineering PLLC invoices for work performed for wetland permits and engineering task in the amount of $5,150. Funds to come out of the Roads and Bridges Capital Reserve Fund. Do I have a second?
Second,
Any discussion?
no.
no,
Roll call vote. Mr. Brown?
yes,
Mr. Bugby?
Yes,
Ms. LaCourse, yes, motion carries. Anything else, Steve?
Nope, that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Julie Glover, Town Administrator.
So the first thing, the supervisors of the checklist would like to use the public safety complex for voter registration on October 28th from 4:30 to 6:30. As you may recall, prior to the primary, they set up in the town hall parking lot. They just have some concerns that it's going to be too cold, too dark to do that at the end of October. So they'd like to use the public safety complex.
Comments or questions?
can we ask the chief to respond with his thoughts?
Is he here?
Yep.
Hello.
Hi, Scott.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to still try and keep everybody out of the building. I understand that, but at the same time, we did have voting in there. If we just know about it, we can lock down our side so there's nobody just going through the building. But obviously, it's up to the selectmen. So
Excuse me, I would offer my building because we won't be there. Any germs will be gone by the time we're in there in the morning. That's an option if you'd like to use my building.
If they do that, Karen, the best way to do it would be to go in one door and out another. Do you have a problem with people exiting out through your office?
No, that's fine.
Okay.
Are you going to be out of there, Karen, by, what is it, Friday, November 6th or the 20th?
No, it's just October 28th.
And it's not until 4:30, but I'm gone at 4, but the first responders are still in their building. So
Oh, okay.
our building is actually empty, so I'm fine with them using my building.
So would we have Bill and or Kristen clean it before you came back in?
Yes, in the morning.
All right.
I think it's a good solution.
Julie, is that something Bill and or Kristen could do?
Yes, my question is, if I present this to the supervisors of the checklist and for some reason they don't like this solution, are you okay with them using the safety complex?
I myself, yes, but I think Karen's offer is probably vital,
Yeah,
and I'd like to push them in that direction as much as possible.
yeah,
I
understood.
concur.
I agree. I agree with that. But, you know, we keep calling it the safety complex. That's not what it is. It's the public safety complex, and we should be able to allow people to utilize the space if it's sitting there empty.
So let's go with Karen's recommendation to use her building. It's
Yeah.
not her building.
Yeah.
As a primary, and if that doesn't work out, then obviously the public safety complex, and then we'll have to, as Scott was saying, prepare for it. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
The library could be an alternative if necessary.
As a secondary. I appreciate that very much.
Okay. On a tangentially related subject, the American Red Cross is asking to use the public safety complex for a blood drive in November 6th or November 20th. They're going to be there for 7.5 hours, and they guesstimate that they're going to have 35 people with up to 10 inside at once. The police chief wasn't able to be at the meeting tonight, but he did send me an email expressing his concerns, and he doesn't want the building used for this.
Fire chief?
yeah, same thing. People are in the building. And my only thought with this is it's an outside agency. So if we open it up to them, then I think a lot of other people are going to be wanting to use the building as well. The supervisors, I can understand it's a town use, but that'd just be my only concern.
I would like to point out that this is a blood drive, all right? And any one of us might need it one of these days, who knows? Especially if I'm a policeman or I'm a fireman or whatever. Also, there is no reason that we can't keep the doors shut between that area where we're talking about, that open area. One door on the backside leads into the fire department. We can close that and lock it. One door next to the kitchen leads into the hallway to the police department. We can close that and lock it. We can control the flow through that area. We can control the flow just like we do during voting. Only this time we're talking about a blood drive. This is not a chump change organization or a violin lesson or whatever. It's a blood drive and it's critical. And I think we need to look at it that way.
I disagree. I understand your concern at this time, but I do agree with the fire chief and the police chief at this time. This is a lot of different people coming in. It's an outside agency at this time. And during the time of, well, especially now during the time of coronavirus, it's always a major concern. So I don't want to open the doors at this time.
Julie, do you happen to know, typically they used to have these at the church. Did they-
Right, they can't do that anymore because the kids are in the daycare and now there are new rules.
Oh,
So you can't use the church.
And I have to admit that when we were talking about the supervisor checklist, I was actually looking at the room meeting application for the American Red Cross. So that's why I said November 6th to the 20th.
Oh, okay.
So getting back to November 6th to the 20th,
Yeah.
can we talk about if nobody's in the town hall, can we have them use the big meeting room in the town hall, the downstairs where you guys are all, if you guys are going to be moved out, there's going to be nobody there.
Yeah, the only problem that I could see with that, Scott, is I
Yep.
don't know how much notice they need to have.
Oh, I see.
And we can't tell them today
I see.
that they could definitely have the building on either of those dates.
So maybe you could get back to them and say, you know, we're moving out of this particular space at the town hall. Could you postpone it maybe till December or something like that? I don't know if it's critical that they have to have it in November or what. Because if you guys are out of there,
Right,
maybe, I don't know, maybe they need 30 days. I don't know what they need.
right.
But I'm kind of, I understand what Mr. Brown and Mr. LaCourse are saying, but I'm kind of leaning toward, and I guess I have been for a while, toward Mr. LaCourse's position. I do not want to get those people infected because people are in the building. So I'd like to keep that particular place locked down and see if this other option works for the American Red Cross.
People walk in that building every single day.
I understand that.
That's why it's called a public.
I understand that. I
But
understand
Carrie,
that.
only the fireside hasn't been open, Carrie, since March for the public. It's
Fine,
just the police
that's
department.
exactly right. That's exactly what I'm saying, Karen. It can be closed off to the public. They don't have access back there. They don't just cruise into the fire department.
Well, I think at this time, I understand the concerns. I heard that Mr. Bugby is not going to allow, and I'm not going to allow, so I think at this point, it's mute.
But Mr. LaCourse, could we also ask the town administrator to see if maybe they could use the town hall later in the, maybe December?
I
to
think
accommodate the request?
that's a great idea. Please.
Okay, I will talk to them.
Thank you.
So Halloween continues to be a topic of a lot of conversation. The town of Durham, I'll make this shorter than it's been. The town of Durham has agreed to do trick-or-treating as they always have on December 30th from 5 to 7, as has Madbury. Durham came up with a draft set of guidelines, which you all should have received this afternoon, and they want all of us to follow that same set of guidelines. A lot of it just is a copy of what the CDC Halloween guidelines are. Durham, though, did add some things above and beyond that. I personally think it's a bit of overkill, but I'm just trying to find out what the board wants us to do in terms of putting out these guidelines. The Oyster River School District said that it would distribute it with the elementary school kids. So what would the board like to do about the Halloween guidelines?
Don't want any, I don't think there's any need for guidelines. Why do you need guidelines for Halloween?
I guess.
Children go out and they go door to door. If you keep your light off, they don't show up. Well,
I
hopefully.
don't know. I think it's to micromanage
Yes.
what people will do. You know, Durham added to the guidelines that each individual piece of candy needs to be separate from each other individual piece of candy. That's not in the CDC guidelines. You know, they want people, they don't want the kids to, I think, go up to the door and you open the door, and I think they want people to hand the candy out outside, like on the sidewalk or on the front lawn. I don't know how they're gonna, how the houses are going to manage the flow of kids. Durham is going to have policemen on bicycles
Mhm.
going through their neighborhoods. I know our police department is not going to do that. I mean, I guess one way of looking at it is I suppose it doesn't hurt to put our name on it along with Durham and Madbury. Because for the most part, I believe people are going to do what people are going to do.
Mr. John?
Please.
I had a conversation with Steve Fournier, who is the town administrator for Newmarket,
Mhm.
and we got talking about different things, and Halloween came up. They're doing the same thing we're doing. Well, I think that we're doing.
Mhm.
We're telling people Halloween is on Friday from 5 to 7. If
Mhm.
you want to participate, turn on your light. If you don't, turn it off, and allow the people that want to do it. And people don't want to do it, turn off your light and you don't have to participate. So they're doing the same thing that we talked about last time. I'm comfortable with all that stuff that's on Durham's thing, like the first part of it, but not all that stuff on the second part of it. So I'm not in favor of sticking our name on it at the moment.
Mr. Brown?
Let's just have Halloween. There's a couple things we want to put on it, that's fine. But I mean, if, for instance, if you go over to Thurston on Halloween, Halloween Eve, you know, they're kind of all over the place. That's why we pass out these lighted necklaces and so on. It's great. So I really don't see it as that big of a problem, to be honest with you. But if we want to quote some of those guidelines, I think that's fine. As far as turning your light on, turning your light off, I think that's definitely the right thing to do. But other than that, you know, kids are kids. They run down the driveway, they knock on the door, or in the case of Thurston, most of the people are already outside distributing the candy on the lawn or whatever. So, you know, I don't think you're really going to control anything.
I guess we're saying at this point is that we'll just go what we discussed before. It'll be hours of whatever Halloween is on that Friday and
Exactly.
5 to 7.
5 to 7. Put your light on if you want it. If not, that's it. I look at this, people take responsibility for their own children, and they must have heard about all this sanitize yourself and everything else, I'm sure.
So do you want me to tell Durham, please take our name off of your guidelines?
Yes.
Or structure it that Lee is just agreeing to the first part, not all the other stuff.
Yeah, I got to be honest. I think they're looking for an all or nothing.
Okay, then nothing.
Nothing.
Okay.
Lee stands on its own.
No, we're standing with Newmarket.
All right, Lee stands with Newmarket.
All right, I will let them know.
Thank you.
The next item, as you may recall, the planning board had a meeting relative to the Daily Building.
Mhm.
Sent us a letter summarizing what their suggestions are. I believe that Karen met with maybe the police chief.
Police and fire chief.
Police and fire shortly after that meeting to talk about the signs. Have any of the outside signs been ordered or have decisions been made as to what they're going to be?
We discussed them. We haven't ordered them because they're not going to take much time, and I wanted to get final approval from this board tonight.
Okay.
So just going down the list, out front, the town office building, yes.
Question, why doesn't it have anything to do with Lee? Why isn't Lee on there?
Yeah, we'll add that.
Sure.
Good idea.
Town
that's
of
a
Lee
great
office
idea.
building.
Great.
I don't
A
want
directional,
somebody from other town coming stealing our sign and then using it.
yeah. Directional
Halloween.
sign, right. Directional sign on the front of the building, absolutely. A sign at the entrance, arrow saying town office building, absolutely, town office building.
Or town of Lee, either way.
Yep. The police, so where the back parking lot meets the existing driveway, the police, the police chief, the fire chief, and myself discussed this. And at this time, we feel it'd be better to not have the line, just to see how, and if we need to add it, have one added. They're going to put a speed bump on the daily driveway to slow the trucks down right before that, where they approach, so should not be a problem. But if there is a problem, we'll put a stop sign and draw the white line. And then we will install a truck traffic sign ahead, that's not a problem. Close the front entrance off using the second one to create two-way traffic. The parking lot is not wide enough for a two-way traffic pattern. Then we discussed the traffic pattern of using the exit as the entrance. We discussed this, we were on site, using the exit as an entrance and the entrance as an exit. And it was discussed that we felt it'd be too tempting for people to pull out there and cutting off in front of trucks. And by having the traffic pattern as we designed, it'll make it so people have to go around the building and follow the correct traffic pattern.
So
We discussed that with Daley as well.
do that again? I'm confused.
The planning board wanted the entrance to not, so as you turn into the parking lot now,
Yep,
the entrance is immediately on your right.
correct.
The planning board wanted the entrance to be behind where my office is going to be and
Oh.
create a two-way traffic pattern on site, because their feel was that there'd be a backup onto 125 with cars turning in.
I see.
We don't feel that that's going to be a problem.
Okay,
So then we looked into the possibility of reversing the traffic, so the exit would be where the entrance is. So you would go into the site around and then turn in right, instead of going around the building, you'd turn in behind, like you'd go into my office, that would be the entrance. But and then people would be leaving out the front and then have to go take a right and go around the building
I see.
and then leave. But we figured that that would be too tempting for people to pull out, think that it's clear, pull out and cut a truck off.
I see.
And that is what we don't want. So we decided to keep the traffic pattern as presented.
So the traffic pattern is really counterclockwise around the building.
Yes,
Okay,
Yep.
Can I ask a question?
yes.
If I remember right, in one of our conversations about this, Julie mentioned at one time there that they already had 20 people working in this building.
Oh, more than
Correct.
that.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I mean, what did they do back then that to handle all this, that all of a sudden we're having these kinds of problems? I mean, if they had 20 people, I assume some of them drove cars and parked in the parking lot and did all those things.
Yeah.
Why are we having this kind of issue now?
I think they had anywhere between 30 and 50 employees.
Okay, that's even more. I mean, that's what I'm trying to.
You would have to ask the planning board that question.
The
Okay,
planning board was just being cautious.
well, but if they had 50 people in the building at one time, I assume the planning board was cautious during that time. And now we're only gonna have X, I forget what the number is, and we seem to be wrestling with it.
But I think the difference is that once those people went to work, they were there all day. We had people coming and going continuously in and out of the building. So I think it's a little bit extra protection to protect from liability.
Mm.
Correct.
is any of this the traffic flow, Karen, have to do with the exit there or entrance or whatever it is onto George Bennett?
No,
No.
So people can't use that?
they
At all?
can. We're not advertising that, but people can use it if they'd like. We
Alright.
didn't advertise it because unless you know where you're going,
Yep.
it can be a little, I don't want to say tricky, but, and it's a dirt road and
I was just thinking in terms of the staff that have to come and go to the town hall, that it would be safer for them to go off George Bennett to the site than to go out to 125 and go brave 125. So,
I do not, every time I've gone in and out of that building thus far, I've gone in and out of George Bennett.
okay.
I wouldn't have a problem, I don't think, making a right-hand turn
Yep.
on 125, but I would not make a left.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm thinking about, that Because I know Karen and Bill and, different people come and go. The chiefs come and go. I would hate for them to have to come out and go out to 125, take a left, fight 2 lanes of traffic versus just going out George Bennett and then zip to wherever they need to go.
Right. Yeah, anybody can use George Bennett. It's just not advertised to use George Bennett, but anybody can use it.
All right. And he plows it. Somebody plows it during the wintertime?
Yes. Yep.
All right.
Yep. So, and then install speed bumps to slow traffic down. If there's an issue on site, we discussed that we would get those speed bumps that you lay down like at the transfer station, but we didn't foresee that there'd be an issue. And we will post a speed limit sign in the parking lot, 5 miles per hour. And then paint lines around the fueling area to deter people from the driving through that area. That's on the daily, it's a building in the center that you go around. That's where they fuel the trucks. So the planning board wanted that area outlined so people didn't drive through that area. But it's a raised area. It's actually a cement pad. But we can do that if you all want us to do that.
Is there bollards around that so people don't accidentally drive into the whatever it is, tanks or pumps or
No,
whatever?
I don't think so, but it's a big fueling pad,
Okay.
wide enough for one of their trucks without a trailer.
Okay.
So if you hit that, you have to really be,
Mhm.
Oh, there's probably people in town that could do that though.
probably.
All right.
So if there's anything that you don't want us to do, just let us know, or if you're okay with what we're doing.
The only thing I had is the town office building sign. Make sure it has Lee in there someplace.
Okay.
And just don't post it before Halloween.
No, no.
Otherwise, I think the list looks good. Mr. Brown,
Sorry,
are you okay with the list?
I'm okay.
Good, there we go.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Update on the leased office space. The work is progressing. I believe that most of the interior work will be done this week, Karen?
Yes,
Okay.
should be.
Uh,
Yep,
I'm going to be meeting there tomorrow with the phone guy and the security system, the locksmith. So that work has started. So things are definitely progressing in the building. There's a meeting finally this Thursday, between Daley's engineer and DOT.
Mhm.
So fingers crossed.
Julie, if you had to estimate a move date or a move month, where would you be?
I still think I'm still hopeful it's gonna be November.
Okay.
Still hopeful it's gonna be November, because it's gonna start to get really cold for the people standing under that tent in the town clerk tax collector.
That's very true, yeah.
So do you have any questions about the space? No? Okay.
I guess we're good.
All
No, I
right.
went down, I went down there and looked at it and so on with you, and I think it's a great space. I mean, it's almost like it's made for,
Right.
those things that we want to do, and I think it's a good move.
Mhm.
Yeah, we're still all very excited, just
Yeah.
want to get in there.
Yep.
The document in front of you, I will just send this out to you, needs to be signed and posted for the election on November 3rd.
Can we do it via the Adobe thing or do we have to physically sign it?
No, I believe you can do it via the Adobe thing.
Okay.
So,
Mhm.
drought update, the drought continues. I believe that we are now in the extreme drought. We have been putting updates in the e-crier every week. So unless the board wants us to do something different, I mean, as this latest notice points out, it's pretty much at the end of the lawn watering season anyway.
Pretty close to it.
Yep.
I think we'll just leave the warnings for left on the crier and that'll be it.
Okay. Treehouse. So I think by now I've filled all of you in. We did find, or Sharon Summers found an attorney that was a conservation easement expert and was willing to review the documents and offer up an independent opinion. Then found out that that attorney charges $500 an hour. So she has a teleconference with him, actually him or her, I don't know which it is, on Wednesday to talk about it and see whether they can work something out where we would just get charged a flat fee.
Mhm.
So that's where that is. We should probably talk about the James Farm drainage issue and just in this public meeting, have the board agree to move forward with the engineering from Jones and Beach in the amount of $4,600. Questions?
I have no
Comments?
questions. Let's
Okay.
move forward.
Okay.
Do you need a motion or a second? You're gonna have to need something.
We could frame it in a motion to take the money out of the Road and Bridge Capital Reserve Fund,
In the amount of how much?
$4,600.
So moved. Do we have a second?
Second,
Any further discussion? Hearing none. Mr. Bugby, your vote?
yes.
Mr. Brown, your vote?
Yes.
Mr. LaCourse, your vote? Yes, motion carries.
And then one other item that should have been on the agenda, our apologies, Mr. Bugby wanted to talk about staff evaluations.
Yes,
Mr.
it's that
Bugbee?
time of year.
It
If
is
we're
that
gonna
time of
continue
year.
doing what we're doing previously in terms of
Mhm.
talking about salary increases and stuff like that, we need to have those evaluations completed. So I'd like to have a discussion with the board in terms of timing and if they want to continue that practice, what date do we need them in by? So,
Well, I think it's important that we continue the practice. It's always important for people to get positive feedback on, what they do good and if there's any slight improvements that could be made. So we need to move forward at that point.
I would suggest that we say December 1st. And
Good.
then later in December, we can have a discussion in terms of amounts, what we're doing, that kind of thing.
Yep.
Sounds like a plan. Yes.
I don't know if December 1st is a regular weekday or what, but let's see.
Let's see. December 1st is a Tuesday.
All right. Sounds good to me.
Okay.
We have ABC meeting that day, right?
Is there?
Let's see.
Yep.
Yes, we do. Yep.
Okay.
So they're due to the town administrator before then?
Well, it depends when you want to discuss it.
Well,
Yeah.
excuse me, what?
I would say no later than December 1st.
Okay, sounds good. You okay with that, Mr. Brown?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
And that is all I have.
Okay. Is there anything that you want removed from the consent agenda? Hearing none, I move to accept the consent agenda as presented. Do I have a second,
Second. Oh, can I ask a question?
please?
In terms of the people on 4A, you got one from Katrin Casper. Is she in the list or is that gonna
No,
happen?
I think we got it today.
Can we
Or-
approve that one as well?
Denise, did we get all of her paperwork?
Yes, I think she's in the agenda. I must have not added her name.
Okay.
I
So-
believe she's in the agenda packet.
I did see it in the agenda package.
Okay, yep,
All right.
she
So
should
there
have been added.
7 there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
I got her late, yeah, she should be added.
Okay.
So make it known that she has been added. So it's been moved and seconded. We just had formal discussion. Roll call vote, Mr. Bugby,
Yes.
Mr. Brown,
Yes.
Ms. LaCourse, yes, motion carries. Anything else miscellaneous, unidentified, or unfinished business? Thank you.
Oh, I have something to discuss.
Please?
Number one, I went to the NHA meeting this last Friday. All the things that were on the docket were passed.
Mhm.
There was some discussion from a couple of towns that weren't authorized to vote for things, so they just abstained. But everything passed. It was supposedly, according to the management, that was the fastest annual meeting they've ever had. It was 25 minutes.
Wow.
So that was done with. The other thing I wanted to talk with the board, and this is more of an FYI, and I think you probably know it anyways, but when we created the town center, town hall renovation committee, we have a charge. We have some members now that have been approved, but at some point we're going to be coming to you and asking for money for some things, specifically probably from AECM to continue the work to finalize plans and stuff. So that's just a heads up. I don't have any numbers that I want to throw at you because I don't have any. But just be aware that at some point the committee is going to come and say, we need some money for doing this, this, and this, and we'll give you those particular pieces of information. So just an FYI.
So, Scott, I noticed that you have some people who are on the old town vision committee, but you also have new people, correct?
Yes, yes.
So is it going to expand anymore, or is this pretty much where you think it is?
I think we're happy with who we've got. We specifically targeted people.
Okay.
That's not meant to sound bad.
No.
But these people are from different groups in town, if you will, and different expertises. So like, for instance, we asked Mary Woodward to join us because she's into helping us with energy, and she is gung-ho to help us with that for the new town. Well, not the new town hall, but renovating the town hall.
Mhm.
So it's people like that. There's 4 members continuing from the town center vision committee. So we have history in terms of what we planned.
Mhm.
But then we brought in some new members, and Katrin Casper is very good in terms of dealing with social media and getting information out to people. So that's why one of the reasons she was solicited. So I think it's a good group, and hopefully we can get this work done, but we've got a short amount of time and we've got lots of things to do. So
Absolutely. Well, thank you for that. Anything else for the good of the town?
nope.
I move to adjourn. Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much.